Did you know there's an entire federal legal framework behind something as simple as taking a photo of a check with your phone? And if you don't understand these rules, your money could get stuck in the bank for days, sometimes without any clear explanation. Yes, when you snap a picture of a check and deposit it through your banking app, it's not just your bank's technology working behind the scenes. There's an entire system of federal regulators making sure that process runs safely. And if you don't know these rules, you could end up trying to withdraw funds at the wrong time and getting hit with overdraft fees. Welcome back to Money Regulation Hub. Today we're talking about the federal rules on mobile check deposits, meaning what actually happens legally when you take a photo of a check and deposit it through your phone. In this video, we'll look at how this whole system started, which agencies regulate it, when your funds actually become available, what rules exist to prevent fraud, and how you as a customer can understand your own rights. Let's get into it first. Let's understand where this whole system came from. Back in the day, if you wanted to deposit a check, you had to physically go to a bank branch or use an ATM. Then in 2003, a law was passed called the Check Clearing for the 21st Century Act, commonly known as the Check 21 Act. This law allowed banks to process a digital image of a check called a substitute check instead of the original paper check. This was the foundation that later gave rise to the entire mobile deposit technology we use today. Once smartphones became common, banks built on this same legal framework to create apps where you could photograph a check and deposit it directly. So mobile check deposit isn't some separate new law, it's essentially a modern extension of the Check 21 Act. Now let's look at the second important point. Who actually regulates this entire system? In the US, mobile and electronic check deposits are overseen by several federal agencies. First is the Federal Reserve, which sets funds availability rules through what's called Regulation CC. Second is the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, or CFPB, which protects consumer rights, meaning if a bank treats you unfairly, the CFPB is the agency that steps in. Third are the FDIC and OCC, which monitor bank safety and operational risk, especially when it comes to fraud prevention and duplicate deposits. So every time you make a mobile deposit, all three of these agencies' rules are working together in the background, whether you notice it or not. Now let's move to the third and probably most practical point. When do your funds actually become available? This is the question everyone who uses mobile deposit eventually asks. Under Regulation CC, if you deposit a reasonable amount, banks typically make at least a portion available by the next business day. Something like the first $200 to $225 might be available almost immediately or the next day, while the remaining amount could be held for 2 to 5 business days. But if the deposit is large, if your account is new, or if the bank suspects the check might not clear, they can extend this hold period. And here's something important to understand: the mobile deposit cutoff time. Every bank has its own cutoff time, say 5 p.m. or 8 p.m. If you deposit after that time, it's treated as the next business day's deposit, even if you deposited it at 11 p.m. the night before. Ever wondered why a check you deposited Friday night doesn't process until Monday? Now you know the reason. Let's move to the fourth point, which might actually be the most important one: fraud and the issue of duplicate deposits. Since mobile deposit began, one of the biggest concerns for regulators has been making sure someone doesn't deposit the same check twice, once through mobile deposit and again at a branch or ATM. That's why the Federal Reserve and banking regulators have set guidelines requiring banks to build technology that can instantly detect duplicate checks. This is also why most banking apps ask you to write for mobile deposit only on the check and sign it, so the same check can't be used anywhere else. If a customer intentionally deposits the same check twice, that falls under check fraud, and it can lead to legal action at both the federal and state level. So next time you make a mobile deposit, it's important to either tear up that check or store it safely, but only once your bank has confirmed the deposit has cleared. Now the fifth point: consumer rights and disputes. If something ever goes wrong with your mobile deposit, say the amount is recorded incorrectly, or your deposit gets rejected without explanation, under CFPB rules, the bank is required to explain the reason to you in writing. Under Regulation CC, you have the right to ask your bank why a hold was placed and when exactly the funds will become available. If the bank doesn't respond properly, the customer can file a complaint with the CFPB. This is a right that very few people actually know about, but it belongs to every single mobile banking user. And finally, the sixth point: what's happening going forward? Regulators are currently updating rules around mobile and digital payments, especially since instant payment systems like FedNow have launched. It's expected that in the coming years, check clearing will become even faster, and hold periods may shorten further. But for now, the current federal framework is exactly what we discussed: the Check 21 Act, Regulation CC, and the consumer protections enforced by the CFPB. Alright, let's quickly recap everything we covered today. Number 1, mobile check deposit is built on the foundation of the Check 21 Act. Number 2, this system is jointly regulated by the Federal Reserve, CFPB, FDIC, and OCC. Number 3, funds availability is governed by Regulation CC, where part of the amount is available immediately and the rest within a few days. Number 4, duplicate deposit fraud is a serious issue, and banks use specific technology to prevent it. And number 5, if there's ever a dispute with your bank, you as a customer have a legal right to escalate it to the CFPB. So that's today's topic, the federal rules on mobile check deposits. If you enjoyed this video and learned something new, make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit like so we can keep bringing you useful financial information like this. Let us know in the comments which point you found most useful. In the next video, we'll be talking about how bank overdraft fees actually work and how you can avoid them, so don't miss that one. Until then, take care!